Then to the suit of cups and the Ace of Cups. Fertility, productiveness, beauty, pleasure, happiness, joy, contentment, nourishment, abundance, fertility. Then the Two of Cups and love. The imagery is quite similar, as are the meanings. Marriage, love, pleasure, harmony. Love, passion, friendship, union, and sympathy. Abundance and the Three of Cups. Plenty, hospitality, pleasure, abundance. Perfection, merriment, happy issues, victory, fulfillment. Luxury and Four of Cups. This is actually the first card where I think it shows a lot about the way that Pixie just had to choose one wording into the picture. Receiving pleasure or kindness from receiving pleasure or kindness from others, but discomfort therewith. And that actually transfers well even to the Rider-Waite-Smith. He's been offered some pleasure, but even though it's pleasure, he feels discomfort. But that meaning is coming from the interpretation of the Thoth deck. Pleasure approaching end. Stationary period in happiness. So this here we see the happiness flowing, but it's coming to an end. It's stopping here. But we see the same here. There has been happiness and abundance, but it's like, no mas. Not anymore, thank you. And then to the Four of Cups. Weariness, blended pleasure, no constellation in a yet another wine. So it's like he knows he's getting wine offered, but he's like, no more. So there's subtle differences, but it's still quite easy card to interpret in both decks. Then the Disappointment and Five of Cups. And everybody can see the disappointment here also. Even it's written here, but you can see it here with your eyes. Disappointment in love, unkindness of a friend, loss of friendship, end of pleasure, sorrow and loss. Loss, but something remains. So again, two very similar cards. It's like something is lost, but not everything. So it's not like total ruin there in the Five of Cups. Then Pleasure and Six of Cups. And this is a card where I see quite a bit of difference. In the Pleasure in the Thoth, beginning of a wish, happiness, success, and enjoyment. But in the Rider-Waite-Smith, it talks past and memories, happiness, enjoyment, things that have vanished. So the past, the memory aspect is not so much showing and visible in the pleasure card as it is more present here on the Rider-Waite-Smith. But otherwise, underneath in the meaning, there is in both cards, for example, happiness and enjoyment. So those words are similar in the both little white books. Debauch and the Seven of Cups. Lying, promises unfilled, illusion, deception, error. Images of reflection, sentiment, imagination. And these cards, they have, again, a bit different layers, but they can be quite well understood again. At least the illusion is something that ties them well together, and then you can move from there into the larger meanings. Indolence and Eight of Cups. Success abandoned, decline of interest, journeying from place to place, instability, decline of a matter or matter that has been thought to be important. So, super similar cards. In both, they've had those good things. They will turn their backs on them, and so there has been success, but it is now abandoned. And in the Thoth, it's always in the cup suit. If there's not a lot of water pouring, it's a sign that the card has some negative aspects. As you see here in the happiness card in the Nine of Cups, where it's pouring like all over. So those are good images to compare the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Cups, of how the water speaks a lot in the Thoth deck. But then the happiness and Nine of Cards. Complete success, pleasure and happiness, wishes fulfilled. Concord, contentment, victory, success, advantage and satisfaction. So really similar cards, and actually many people talk about this card as the wish card, but it's funny that the wishes fulfilled was from the Thoth White Book. Then to the Satiety and Ten of Cups. Matters settled, complete good fortune, permanent and lasting happiness and success. Contentment, perfection of state, love and friendship. So a whole lot of water pouring and the rainbow filled with cups and super happy cards. And quickly through the courts. The Princess of Cups and the Page of Cups. Sweetness, poetry, gentleness, kindness, imaginative, dreamy. Prince of Cups and the Knight of Cups. Subtle, violent, crafty, artistic, fierce nature with calm exterior. Powerful for good and evil. And that always makes me laugh, because I'm born the 11th of November, so 11/11. And this is the card of my deck. And when I was young, I was in, I don't know, 9 or 10 or something. And our school, it had some sort of special day, and there was a numerologist there. And the only sentence I remember she said to me that I can be really powerful, both in good or in evil, just as Crowley says here on this card. And it became so meaningful to me that I went home and told it to Mom. And I said that I don't want to be really powerful in evil, and I want to use my powers for good. And it's funny how a small thing like that has stuck with me for decades and has been a life lesson for me. The realization that I could be also a really good bad person, but instead I choose to be as good person as I can. Just a funny little detail. But I think with court cards, it's always good to try to find the things from real life. And I think the Thoth deck actually helps a lot about understanding how the astrological description about people when it comes to the decans that they rule, and finding your own decan and finding your own court card in the Thoth and reading about the astrology behind it. For example, the Phyllis Seckler book is amazing for that. And when you find yourself there in the meanings, you can start finding your closest people in the meanings and really understand the ideology behind the court cards. But let's continue. The Queen of Cups. And again, the only court card that's named similarly in both decks. Imaginative, poetic, kind, imagination stronger than feeling. And then the Knight of Cups and King of Cups. Graceful, poetic, Venusian, indolent, and enthusiastic.